Morning, guys. Okay, it's Remembrance Sunday, and I was tagged by Funky Prepper to do some funny army stories, and I thought it was quite apt to remember my old mates on Remembrance Sunday. I'm going to remember some of the fun times, the crazy times, you know, the times that made you laugh, and takes me back to basic training. I shared a room with a medic, and his name was Harry. He was from Grimsby, so we nicknamed him Harry Haddock for some reason. I don't know if they fish for haddock up there. But this dude, Northern humour, he every night, lights went out, he would set fire to his farts. Every night without fail. And you're just waiting for this woof, and the light, it would light up the room. And this one night, we were just waiting, and on woof, he's going mad, and he'd set fire to his underpants, man. He was wearing nylon boxer shorts. He was wearing nylon boxer shorts, and he set fire to them. And he was running around the dorm trying to put his pants out, man. I ended up having to take him to the MRS to have his pants peeled off his testicles. Oh man, they'd melted to his nuts. Oh man, that was. There's so many memories, you know, and some of the guys that I reminisce and I talk about are no longer here. So it is a little difficult. Another guy, you know, army life is so different to civilian life, and unless you've experienced it, you have no idea what it's like to have that camaraderie, to have that connection, that friendship. There's nothing like it. You know, getting in, everybody has arguments, everybody, you know, doesn't mean that you don't care for that person, you won't lay down your life for that man. I remember one night we were on guard duty, and a couple of the guys had a falling out, and one of the guys pulled out a knife and just threw it at him, and it stuck. It was like that, giving it all this, and he turns around and throws it, and it just stuck in him. And we all look at him like, you know, you're thinking, that's a good shot, or you're thinking, what the hell are you doing? And there was no, you know, what do you think you're doing? I'm going to sue you. You know, there was none of that. It was okay, that sorted that argument out, and yeah, he ended up going to the MRS and having a couple of stitches, but that was it. It was game over. Argument done. I boxed for the army for a couple of seasons, and I remember this particular fight, and he was a big guy, like, and the bell rang, and I thought, if this guy hits me, it's really going to hurt. And I kept on hitting him, and I was hitting him so hard in the face, and he was just laughing at me. There was nothing I could do. I won the fight. The guy hardly lifted his hands. I don't think he ever hit me. A week later, he was in the glass house in Colchester. You know, he was off his head. And you know, I take that as a compliment. the guy stepped into the ring and he thought the only way that he was gonna defeat me was to be on drugs. Like, I know it's mental, and you know, it's army life. And it's situations and scenarios and things like that that bring people closer together. You don't have that in civil life. I told you about the time, the video is called Hot Can Save My Life. It's not strictly true. The morale, the guys, my team, the section, that kept me alive. But if you want to see the story, it's quite a story. Like, yeah, Hot Can Save My Life. But going back to some funny stories, I did quite a bit of sports in the army. I was a sportsman, and when I was a junior, I cycled for the British Armed Forces, and we were at the Army Cycling Championships up in Harrogate, and we were guests there. I think it's a signals garrison up there that we were staying at. Anyway, just down the road was an all-girls school. Now, bearing in mind we were 16, 17, and there was a rumour on camp that 2 squaddies. Now, if there's any youngsters listening, turn off now, because this isn't for you. This is adult humour. I wouldn't want my children to hear this, so thank you for watching. But, anyway, there was a school down the road, all-girls school, called Queen Ethelberg's. This is up in Harrogate. And it was only like a 2-mile tab from the garrison. And there was a rumour that 2 squaddies had died in this school. They got locked in there and they were humped to death by the older girls of the school. And we thought, wow, what a way to go. So the plan was, there were 4 of us, and the plan was to gain entry into this establishment, into this school. So the first night we tab on down cross country, we recce the place out, we see there's certain areas that we can get to, certain ones that we can't. There are actually guys walking around with dogs and spotlights, so you know, the place was looked after. Anyway, the second night we thought, right, we're going to go on in. So we managed to get into the school property, we managed to get up to the window, we knocked on the window, and sure enough, maybe half a dozen girls, you know, 16, 17, 18-year-olds come to the window, and they're all excited, and we're all there, all calmed up, all ready for action. And they signalled to us that they can't open the windows because the windows are nailed down. So they said if we come back the following night, they'll get us in through the entrance. So, you know, the following day we're all, yay, rock on. So we turn up that night, must be midnight, something like that. And we're all against the wall, and we're all taking the corners really tight, and we get to the window and the girls are there. And then all of a sudden, boom, spotlight on us, dog goes mad, and we leg it. And there was a fence around the perimeter, and it must have been 5 foot tall. I don't remember touching that fence. We were straight over, straight across the fields. Oh man, heart was going 10 to a dozen. We all get back to camp, and we're like, adrenaline's pumping, we're rushing, and anyway, we get into we're just about to get through the barrier, and they ask us where we've been, and we just told the bloke on guard that we'd been into town, and he said, oh well, okay then, because we've had a call from the police, suspected burglary at the school down the road. And we're like, no, that wasn't us, no way, we wouldn't do that. Now, the problem was that the whole of the garrison was gated, apart from us who were visitors. So we were the only people allowed out of the garrison that night. So the fact that it had been reported that 4 suspected squatters had been seen, you know, running away from the scene, they kind of suspected it was us. So we get back to our dorm, all 4 of us, and we're there, and the rest of the guys are like, how did you get on then, boys? And we're making up these stories, and next thing we hear is this click, clop, come down the corridor, and it's a very distinctive sound. It's the sound of some drill boots, and we know that that is the guard sergeant. So we jump into our pits, turn the light out, jump into our pits, and just pretend we're asleep. Next thing you know, door opens, light goes on, and this guard sergeant, he wasn't happy, and we were pretending that we just woke up. It must have been, you know, 1 o'clock, 1:30. Anyway, he asked us where we'd been and what we'd been doing, and we said we'd been in our bed for ages, and he tells us to get out of our pits, and we're there in our clothes, soaking wet up to our knees from running across the fields, and we were busted. That was it. So they were telling us that the police wanted to take action, suspected robbery, burglary, and we just came clean, and we just told the guard sergeant what we were doing there, and he knew we weren't trying to burgle the place. He'd heard the rumours as well. Turned out the rumours weren't true. You're young and naive. So, the accompanying officer who came with us, he was taken to the colonel, the commandant of the garrison, the following day to see what sort of action would be taken against us. Bearing in mind, we're there, you know, as a cycling team. So anyway, the officer comes back to us and he says, look, you know, they are going to refer it back to our own colonel, back to our own garrison. So we had a couple of days left to sweat it out. So we get back and we're thinking, this is it, busted, we're out of here. So I get called in front of the colonel. Colonel refers it to the RSM, the Regimental Sergeant Major. He was a new RSM, so we thought he's really gonna, you know, he's really gonna bust us. So we march on into his office and he shouts at us. He was an Irish guard, like his peak was like that, and he shouts at us something like, you know, if you turn around and march back in, and if you don't do it properly, I'll ride you around the drill square like a shagging pogo stick. Something like that. So we march in and we're shaking, we think this is it, we're done for. Anyway, he didn't take immediate action. He referred it to our company sergeant majors. Now bearing in mind, my CSM had caught me shaving my legs. As a cyclist, as a competitive cyclist, you shave your legs, and he walked in one day and he caught me shaving my legs and he just said, Stevens, I don't want to know. So he never asked. So I'm in front of him and I'm thinking, this is it, I'm going to lose both my stripes. That's it, I'm done. Anyway, I march into his office. He says, Stevens, put your hand out. And he took a ruler and he slapped me on the hand. And he said, Stevens, when I heard this story, I would have been more concerned if it was a boys' school. Off you go. And that was it. I turned around. That was it. No punishment. Three of the other guys, the other three, they all got ropes, like ROPs, restriction of privileges. They were gated, they weren't allowed out. They were beasted up and down the drill square. I got away with it, being a sportsman. Well, I thought I'd got away with it. Until we did NBC drills, eating and drinking drills. One of the guys had turned around my filter in my respirator. So this is what Payback's all about. So in there in the CS chamber, filled up with CS gas. It's not nice stuff. Gas, gas, gas. In 9, the old S10 respirator, that's right. Stick it on, blow out all the nasty gas, suck in. I'm getting pure CS gas. Change the canister, stick another canister in. Another big whack of CS gas, that's it, I'm kicked out. That was Payback. That's Payback. But you know what? There's no animosity, no hatred, no bitterness, no resentment. That doesn't happen. You don't get that. You're a family. Band of brothers. Guys, it's 6 minutes until it's the 11th hour. So I choose to remember, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget my band of brothers, you know. Good times, nothing like it. So I thank you and bless you, and I'll catch you later on. All right, bye.